Hello, this is Force 13 Live. We are in our 7th hour of continuous coverage on Cyclone Enawo, which is approaching Madagascar very slowly, and we expect it will arrive there, well, at the current rate it's going to take another 7 hours. But Madagascar is already feeling the effects. Tropical storm force winds over probably at least a 90-mile stretch of area, a coastline along Madagascar. That is around, 150 kilometers or so. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm joined by a dwindling Skype team consisting in this hour of Nelson and Cesar. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, who's going to be the last one left?
I will.
You will. You said you were going in 30 minutes.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, you just noticed.
So Nelson will stay alive with you, I will die in 30 minutes.
Okay. This may well be our last hour as well. I'm not sure what we're going to do over the course of the next passage of time.
Alright, well,
Usually there comes a point when you feel like that you've delivered everything you can really deliver and you're not necessarily required to stick around, which I think everyone who's been on our stream tonight should not feel guilty about feeling that way. But this storm, hasn't changed all that much at all since midnight 5 hours ago, and still has winds of around 150 miles an hour, still has an eye that's struggling, still has an eye wall that's very intense, and it's about to make landfall over in Madagascar. A few more hours will do it. We know what the anticipated effects are, but it's going to be a long day in the island nation. Nelson.
Yes. National Weather Service in Lincoln, Illinois, tornado warning for northwestern Knox County.
And we've got all this issues going on, and big parts of Illinois and Wisconsin under a severe thunderstorm watch now, including Chicago.
That is correct. It just keeps creeping eastward. If I can take a look at the information, I'm pulling it up now on the main map at weather.gov. That shows all of the up-to-date weather warnings. It remains that there are tornado watches through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, and what could enter into Wisconsin. We don't have much information to bring you on how this storm line is going to continue to progress. We can only say that we will monitor it as long as we are broadcasting live.
Oh, I was on air, which might not be very long. I was just about to start my phone on, not realising it was already on, which might be pretty soon, the way things are going. But if you do have any comments or questions for us whilst we're on the air, do start your message with Force13, all in text. Momentarily, we're going to take a look at what Chicago is looking like. It looks a little bit wet there, perhaps, and the wind's getting up a little bit, and we'll have a shot of that for you in just a moment. But in the meantime, I don't know if you have any latest reports, Nelson.
No, I've delivered the latest report. But we have a question from Donovan. How far out do Cyclone Enawu's tropical storm force winds extend out from the center?
Good question. We won't know for sure till the next hour.
Estimate has it at 165 kilometers. That is the ADT.
For tropical storm force winds? Did he say?
34 knot radii.
Yeah. Indeed. I believe now we've got the Chicago shot running. There it is. That's the latest in Chicago right now. Looking, the camera's wobbling a little bit. Must be pretty windy there. Gusting a little bit. So if anything happens over there, we'll let you know. And might want to resize that just a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. But yes, if you've got any comments or questions for us, do let us know. Look at time, 5:07. And Nelson, I don't suppose you've got any... Well, I just asked you that question, but any latest storm reports? Because I've not quite found any yet.
Storm reports.
I'm taking a look myself here.
11:06. Severe weather statement. Tornado warning remains in effect for Miller County, Lake of the Ozarks, Tuscumbia, Bromley, Mary's Home, St. Elizabeth, Eugene, and Allman. You're still in danger. But other than that, there has been no spotter confirmed tornado since the last warning I read, which was indicated on radar, but a new warning nonetheless.
David's now come back to join us. Hello, David.
Welcome. Good to be back.
Welcome. I'm the one welcoming you, David.
No, David is the king of every chat he's ever been in.
Thank you. No, not really. Okay, so what's the latest?
Well, we're now looking at a webcam of Chicago. Clouding over there by the looks of things, or clouded over already. The lights are alive, and the camera is shaking a little bit. It must be a bit breezy. Okay, so we've got some new, more storm reports. Where do we start? Power poles, I think we've read this actually. New stuff. There's two new things. A power line has been knocked down, and a tree in Pierce City, Missouri. That happened 20 minutes ago, and just less than 20 minutes ago, 2 miles southeast of Olive, Missouri, 70-mile-an-hour gust with some tree damage, 35 to 40 mile an hour sustained. So again, the situation continuing mainly in Missouri. I don't think there's any more tornado reports at this time, but let me reiterate what tornado warnings are still in effect right now, whilst I can. In fact, one's just been issued. Northwestern Fulton County in west central Illinois, yes, and Knox County in west central Illinois. That's the first one in Illinois tonight. 11:07 p.m. Severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage were located over Little Swan Lake, or 15 miles northeast of Macomb, I think it is, moving east at 65 miles an hour. These dangerous storms will be near Abingdon at around 11:20, London Mills at 11:25, Macon and Gilson around 11:30, Yates City 11:35, and Williamsfield at around 11:40. This includes Interstate 74 between mile markers 46 and 67. Take cover now. The other warnings that are already in effect for Miller County in Missouri, also for southwestern Henry County in Illinois. Oh, so there's already been one in Illinois. Is that in Illinois? It must be, yes it is.
Yes.
So it's a second one, first and second that's just happened. A tornado warning for central Laclede County, I think it is. I might be horribly wrong with that, in Missouri. And also for southern Warren and northeastern McDonough counties. That's also in effect. And another one, northern Knox County in west central Illinois. Did we mention that one?
Yes.
And northwestern Whiteside and southeastern Carroll counties in Illinois as well. How many are there? I must be behind the times.
And I've got
Again, if you go to
Madison County, I think some of them are repeated.
Currently, the Quad Cities, Iowa radar has 4 active tornado warnings.
Now, just to affirm, there are several tornado warnings in Illinois, covering, not completely, but in part, covering 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 6 counties in Illinois are in part under tornado warnings. So this is not dying down.
no. Nelson, sorry Nathan. Nelson AR is that Arkansas?
Yes, it is.
Okay, likely tornado on the ground near Crosses on Highway 295I. Is it 295I?
I-295.
I-295, Interstate 295.
Yeah.
Okay, Interstate 295, location Crosses.
Now there's an image that's just been posted in this room, Dave. You might want to screen share it. A late image of Enawo.
Okay.
If you're hearing the ambient noise, that's coming from that webcam over there in Chicago. Let's see if there's any messages. What's the strongest tornado ever recorded?
El Reno tornado in 2013, I believe. If I'm not wrong.
Well, I don't know for sure because tornadoes aren't my area of expertise. I admit as much. But we are covering the event because it is a current ongoing event, and we will of course have all the latest.
And thank you
Elvin
to
Lee, you are correct. Chicago radar is down from the NWS website.
Now that it was down last time we had this outbreak, wasn't it?
I think it
the
might
previous
be.
time
I'm
it
unaware
was-
of that.
I'm sure it was down last time as well. So they're not doing very well. But there we are. Peaceful evening at the moment over there in Chicago. What's the temperature over there, do we know? Looks nice enough, but I imagine it's not particularly warm. I don't know. No one else does either, it seems. I'm greeted with a wall of silence.
I mean,
what
Nate,
you're
come
waiting
on,
for?
man. You've turned us
No, it's
from
quite
a
warm actually.
tropical
Quite warm.
storm team
65,
to Chicago's
65
local
degrees.
weather.
It is quite warm, 65 degrees. It looks nice. No, I'm just jealous because the temperature here was stuck at 38 right now, and it's been not very good. The average for March is 50, and we're barely touching 50. And I like the warm weather, and we're not getting it. Not that I would expect to. David, would you like to show that image from Jason?
On the screen.
Yes.
And thanks to Jason, who's over in Perth.
He's giving us some little bit of assistance right now, helping hand over there.
Good to see you here, Jason, behind the scenes.
I'm sure
So
he's
that's what, the latest? Is it the latest?
we're still not seeing it, David.
Oh, you're joking.
No, I'm not.
All right. I was wondering whether you had it on the screen,
No,
all right?
not kidding.
But again. Okay, here we go. Now, tell me if you got it.
We're still waiting here.
That's
Not a sausage, David. You'll have to come back.
Yeah, but you say you haven't got it. All right. I'll do it another way. Back in a minute.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, we're still watching two situations. Cyclone Enawo slowly getting towards Madagascar, and
Have you got it now?
And obviously the severe weather situation as David's screen share fails for the third time.
Oh,
no, I've actually got it.
Oh, have
you
you?
got it. All right.
Problem with
Yeah,
me.
and
This is failing me. This is unusual.
Failing us. Never mind. We're not in too much of a hurry, I'm afraid. Because we are just waiting for things to occur. Yes, things aren't working very well. I think what might be the issue is that my... because I've got lots and lots of things loaded, that my loading rate isn't particularly good right now, and that's probably why it's not displaying. I'm going to do it a different way, and I'll get this image is pretty impressive. I'm going to get the image up on the screen for you, everyone viewing. Just stay tuned just for a moment. Well, whilst we're doing that, I don't know if there's any new tornado warnings out. There seem to be issued one a minute right now.
There are continuing... Sorry, one moment. There are continuing tornado warnings in Missouri, in Illinois, Milledgeville, Abington, Knoxville, Illinois, in Missouri, Iberia, as well as Whittier, Arizona, Weathers, Arizona, Arizona, I'm sorry, Arkansas. It's a long night, guys.
It is
I
a bit.
apologize.
It's getting to be a long night, you're right.
David's inability to differentiate the states is rubbing off on me.
Oh, it's bad.
Thank you. The only one. Tornado warning for Madison County.
Yes, that was already in effect, I believe. I believe we've got the image now. This is turning into a hapless broadcast. But
It's not my fault. It's David, I swear.
It's
Hey!
blame
Or
everything.
I'll-
Blame everything on
I've just come back
David.
in the studio.
Yeah,
so
we
you
need
can't
someone to
blame
blame. There's the latest image of Cyclone
Thank
Enawo
you.
heading towards Madagascar. As you can see, it's getting really close now. But we're still waiting for the storm to actually arrive. But it certainly is arriving for all intents and purposes along a large swathe of that coastline, particularly in Antalaha, which it is now probably less than 40 miles away from there. So the eye will probably arrive over or near Antalaha very soon. 2 hours maybe. I think we're going to end our coverage at the end of this hour, because I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover, and there isn't really much else for us to talk to you about, in all honesty, as the storms, well, I expect they're going to start to die down soon over in the United States. But as for Enawo, we're pretty certain in what it's going to do from here on in, and all we can really do is repeat ourselves, and we can't really there's no webcams or anything over there that we can bring to you, which is unfortunate, but understandable. And if there were webcams there, they may well be down by now anyway, But just know this, that the rain rate inside Enawo right now is probably at least 1 inch per hour in the western side. David, what do you think of when you hear 1 inch per hour?
Thank you for the invitation, because I was just thinking about that. I would give anything to have that at my HQ. But you want some Southern Hemisphere news?
Say again?
Do you want some Southern Hemisphere news?
Well, of course.
Okay, tropical cyclone outlook for the Coral Sea issued about nearly an hour ago indicates whilst there are no significant lows in the Coral Sea, a minority of computer models guidance develops a transient low off the southern tropical coast on Thursday. However, the likelihood of this system developing into a tropical cyclone is considered low, but it's been upgraded for very low for Wednesday, but goes to low Thursday, Friday. So is the drought going to finally break?
I don't know.
That's the latest. Well, I'm hoping it will, because I know my area is way overdue for tropical cyclone. And for the Gulf of Carpentaria, nothing. And for the Indian Ocean, about another half an hour if we are here.
For their update.
Alright, this is getting a little monotonous. National Weather Service in Little Rock, Arkansas has issued tornado warnings for, I'm sorry, this is not a laughing matter. Central Newton County in north central Arkansas, southwestern Boone County in north central Arkansas until midnight Central Standard Time, 38 minutes from now. The hazard is listed as tornado and ping pong ball sized hail. Severe thunderstorm located near Boston or 14 miles southeast of Huntsville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Possible locations impacted: Jasper, Irby, Pruitt, Wayton, Compton, Low Gap, Swain, Gum Springs, Ponca, Marble Falls, Lost Valley State Park, Mossville, Boxley, Crossroad, Vendor, Parthenon, Mount Judea, Mount Sherman.
All right, at 5:08, well, actually, we'll talk about two instances. 4:28, which is nearly an hour ago, 2 miles north of Shawnee in Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma. Quarter-sized hail there. And recently, in 15 minutes ago, 3 miles north-northeast of DeSoto in Leavenworth County, Kansas, reports of ping-pong size hail at 158th Street and Crider Road. That's recent. So that's 1.5 inches, inch size. As for winds, more wind reports. There's a lot of them, I'm afraid. We rattled off a lot of them earlier on this evening, but let me bring to you the latest ones since we last talked about it. 3 more. 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes, no, it is 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, 1 mile north of Laval in Sauk County, Wisconsin. Power lines down north of Laval. 20 minutes ago, 2 miles east-northeast of Lanigan in Missouri, a large tree is down north of Pineville on Highway West, or Highway W, I'm not sure whether it's west, about 2 miles south of 76. And 7 minutes ago at Max Creek, confirmed structural damage on Cemetery Road in Max Creek, waiting for additional reports.
And I got some breaking news.
Yep.
West coast of America, state of California, magnitude 4 earthquake near Ferndale.
That's the last thing we need.
Magnitude 4.
Yeah, those can happen. They're slightly rare. I used to monitor the earthquakes quite often. Usually your eyes light up a little bit when you get a magnitude over, what? Well, 4. But they do happen. What's the depth of that?
I haven't got that information, but I have an update to ex-tropical cyclone Blanche
Oh, you do?
on the rainfall. I think it's Cape Fawcett, a 384 millimeter report.
Wow. A question from Donovan. Will the same system that's impacting the Midwest cause similar effects in the Mid-Atlantic states for Tuesday and Wednesday? Nelson probably knows more about this than I.
You know, I've wanted to answer this question all night, and I've wanted to have
I'm
time
not
to
giving
look
you the
into it.
opportunity.
But the system itself has kept me busy. There are
Absolutely.
tornado warnings and
There's
updates
another one
to
that's just come
warnings
out. Northern
coming
Polk
out.
County, southeastern
I'm-
Scott County in Arkansas. That's another tornado warning. The tornado warning for south central Henry County will expire in 4 minutes time.
And that's what I want to impress to everybody who's been watching this and listening along as we talk about these tornadoes. There is a warning, an update to a warning, a watch update, or some other specialized statement that is coming out every 30 seconds right now, because this is a massive line of severe thunderstorms that is extending from nearly Green Bay, Wisconsin right now to south of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there are very severe storms in Oklahoma. However, there are currently 2 tornado warnings active in Arkansas, others active in Illinois and Iowa, and possibly more up north. And again, as I say, they keep coming through every 30 seconds, so I have no idea what this is going to do besides keep us busy until we stop the stream.
Wow. I'm trying to find out.
Let me actually, I'm gonna take a bit, step aside. David, you can have the updates. And I'll
Okay,
answer
damage reported in Emden, EMDEN, and the prefix MO. Trees down, a building
Missouri.
damage. Isolated potentially tornadic
You know what we
supercell
need?
in.
Sorry, I am interrupting,
Go.
but it is on my mind.
No.
What we need is a David
This
translator.
is Force 13.
We need a David translator here. I'll be your translator. Next time you say M-O, I'll say Missouri. The
Thank
next
you.
time you
Okay,
say okay, Oklahoma. Yep. That'll stop you saying okay at the start of every sentence.
Isolated potentially tornadic supercell in northwest Arkansas to keep an eye on the tornado warned.
All right.
And as we said, this is fast moving. And back to Nathan or Nelson.
It's all fast moving. 60
Are you
or
kidding
70
me, David?
60
That's all you have to
or
say.
70
For
miles.
once in your life, that's
Oh,
all you
my
have to
goodness.
say.
You want that 20-second item, do you?
The tornado warning for central Ecledy County, which I think is a pronunciation, I don't know what else, will expire in 1 minute. So, sounds like there's a few of them expiring here. Southeastern Miller County is going to expire. So, it looks like we're going to be left with maybe, what, 3 tornado warnings in the end? Or maybe 4, or maybe a little bit more. I have no idea where we are right now. There's about 8 or 9 tornado warnings that are currently in effect for this next minute. As you can see, that is the live shot from Chicago. where not much is going on there, but we have a nice image to look at least, if nothing else. 5:30 is the time on the universal clock. midnight on the US East Coast, 11:30 on Central Time. And if there's any more reports, and there is one or two more reports that are coming through right now. I'm trying to figure out which one has just come in here. But we
While you
have
do that,
3
Nathan.
new reports that I got to mention here 13 minutes ago. Reports of a tree several feet thick has fallen on Chestnut, and National and sign on the square was blown down. Didn't make much sense that, but Springfield is the town in Missouri. Again, Missouri. Confirm. We talked about the structural damage one, and the report of a large tree down on the northwest side of Centerton in Arkansas.
And Nathan, just on Springfield, that's to the north of Kelly Williamson's. He lives in Cassville, Missouri, and Springfield, if I'm correct, is just to his north. And Kelly was up there last week covering a tornado.
All right. I think what we're going to move on to next here. I think, well, let's look out for any more tornado warnings. Yeah.
Well,
tornado
Nathan, before
warning.
we go on,
Go on.
I just wanted to say, in answer to the question about how long the storm will last,
Right.
the one-day outlook necessarily keeps an enhanced risk over the Missouri Valley, flowing into Michigan, Ohio, eastern Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, and most of Mississippi. However, when you go to the 2-day outlook, it's only a marginal risk that extends along mostly the Gulf Coast into the Tennessee Valley. So the convection will be petering out probably sometime in the next 12 hours.
Okay.
Guys,
Yes.
sorry for interrupting, but well, it's time for me to go.
Time for you to go,
thanks.
says well,
Yes.
yes, as Nelson was going to say. I'll say it for you, Nelson. Thanks very much for joining us, says
Well, thanks a lot for all the streaming, and it has been a pleasure to for being here. So
Thank you.
see
you
you
for
later,
joining us.
and bye bye,
Good night.
and
Bye.
good luck to all people of Madagascar. See ya.
Indeed. And as Cesar leaves, we're now joined by Jean-Michel Chung, who is joining us from Mauritius. Hello, Jean. How are you this morning? This morning over there in Mauritius. It's looking bright over there. And of course, well, one or two possibilities of maybe some weather coming into Mauritius in the next hour or two from Enawo indirectly. Any clouds on the forecast? Who knows? I'm not sure you can hear me. But if you can hear me, then some screen shares would be very interesting, perhaps, to take a look at the latest satellite imagery of Enawo. Obviously, we'll be on top of that, as well as the latest tornado situation, of which there are still many such situations going on right now. Again, a lot of the tornado warnings have been extended, such as the one in north central Fulton and southeastern Knox counties, and also for the one in southeastern Madison County. Those are continuing for another 10 minutes.
Jean-Michel Chung is real.
Jean-Michel Chung is real. He is in the call, yes. Anything you'd like to say to the silent one, Nelson?
It's an honor to meet you.
And welcome from David.
He can hear us, he just doesn't want to speak. He's terribly shy. And we are still watching that video. We'll get that back up. Chicago, Illinois, that's the latest on the webcam there. This is Force 13 Live. The time is 5:35 UTC, and we are keeping you up to date on everything that is going on.
And 15:35 over here on the east coast of Australia, but not daylight saving time.
Yeah, nor here. If you've got any comments or questions for us, then do send them in. But I don't think we really have too much to be sharing with you anymore, apart from all these tornado warnings and as the storm draws ever nearer.
And Nathan, I have a updated item from my location. The polar storm that severely impacted on the state of South Australia, which generated reported 18 tornadoes, which impacted severely on the people of South Australia through the loss of electricity. It's now being reported by the local Channel 9 news office in Adelaide that the South Australian power crisis has deepened, with predictions we'll be facing more blackouts during Wednesday. That is not good news, and unfortunately it is outrageous, and unfortunately politics and bad policy comes into that picture.
Certainly bad policies.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the people of that state, it's not going to get any better.
Alright. Nelson, are you giggling over there?
Hello.
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's Jean-Michel Chung. Hello, Jean. You can hear us now.
Yes.
How are you? How's Mauritius this morning?
Yes. A lot of rain.
A little rain. Is there more on the horizon heading towards you from the northwest? Because I believe there is, looking at the satellite image. It is certainly drawing near, but apparently some rainfall over there in Mauritius so far. Well, you're still looking at Chicago, still looking very quiet there, though the bad weather isn't too far away. How far do you think, Nelson, from Chicago is it now?
Actually, I'm gonna pull up that radar I had it earlier, but I would suspect it's still a couple hours out of Chicago yet. Give me just a second.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Oh, I need this to loop. If anyone would like to make a donation to me not being slow and useless in the project, I could use a new laptop because my last one fried. Feel free to start a GoFundMe. God,
Let's see how charitable people really are, because if they help you with that, they'll do anything.
I'm adorable like a bunny rabbit. No, it's still hours. I can't even see how far this loop is because this screen is so small.
Well, let's take you away from that
Wait.
webcam now.
458. So. Oh, that's only an hour, so I'd say it's 3 hours outside of Chicago right now. But again, Fayetteville, which has already experienced tornadoes tonight, is about to get hit by another severe line of thunderstorms. The tornadoes that it was hit by was by a band that this line is pushing ahead of it. So that same part of northwestern Arkansas is about to be hit by even more severe thunderstorms.
crazy. I'm just waiting for some technical difficulties to be ironed out here, but I will try and get that screen share of yours up in a few moments, Sean. But the latest on Enawo is that it's drawing ever closer to land. And it's still going to be a few more hours yet, but I think we're going to be finishing at the end of this hour. Jean, turn it off and try again, would you please? We're getting a few little gremlins in the system. I know what the issues are. There's nothing I can do about them, unfortunately. The current temperature here is 4 Celsius at Force 13 HQ. It's actually less than that now. It's gone down to 2. Please give us some warm weather over here.
Nathan, it's 70 here.
Oh, that'd be nice. Can we swap?
No.
Oh. And I think Jason's just put on a new image as well. I don't know if David could screen share that and hopefully see if the screen share works now.
I'll have a look.
But again, in the last 20 minutes here, if you have any questions for us, do go ahead with them. We're here to answer them, and it's probably just about all that we can do at this late stage. There's really not too much to say on Enawo. We've pretty much exhausted everything in ourselves.
Nathan, have you got it?
No, I'm afraid not.
Alright,
The
I'll
tornado
get it on
warning
the
in
computer.
southeastern Madison County will expire at 11:45. That's shortly. The one in northeastern Knox County is also going to expire. And
You got it now?
Fulton and Knox, let's say that one, yes. So the warnings are going to expire soon, and we won't be left with too many, I don't think. Hopefully. No, we're still not receiving it, David. I know.
Alright, give me a minute.
I'm going to just leave the Skype team there just for a moment, and just you can see the radar loop there with the storms continuing to head towards Chicago, and obviously a lot more further south as well. David, do try again now.
Alright.
As soon as possible.
Alright.
And just to mention everything else that's going on, lots of red flag warnings that are currently in effect in Kansas, in Colorado, eastern Colorado, in eastern and southern Nebraska, in northwestern Missouri.
You got it now?
Yes.
Good.
But actually we're showing Jean's screen share at the moment. So let's take a look at what Jean has to show us first of all, and then we'll bring David in. John is showing us the latest satellite imagery of Cyclone Enawo. As you can see, it's been drawing ever closer to Madagascar in those lakes. John, what's the last frame on that loop there? What's the timestamp? Do we know?
It was three hours ago.
3 hours ago. Well, it's still looking interesting though, but I'm sure we have some more recent imagery than that. David, if you want to take hold of the screen share and show us what were you going to show us now? I forget.
Image from Jason.
Ah, yes.
You got it now?
No, because we've still got Jean there.
Alright, hang on.
When you we're having problems with David's screen sharing abilities there. I'm going to wait for the latest image on Enawo though, because it's still persisting. Ah, there it is.
Got
Yes,
it
we've
now?
got it.
Got
It's still persisting, and in that latest frame, the eye temperature might be actually heading back towards 0. And a big flare up all around the left hand side of the eye, and well, it's looking very good again. It could be Something's happening with that eye wall, though. I just wonder what will happen next. It's gripping almost. But
Is it doing an eye wall replacement?
it could be the beginning of one. But it's got to feel that landfall must be extremely close now, but it's taking so long. Places like Antalaha right now probably experiencing maybe hurricane force winds by now. And the rainfall rates are going to be huge. At least 1 inch per hour.
Have you shown the precipitation track? Is there one available?
The model runs for precipitation might come in handy. We haven't mentioned that. I'll get onto that now. And suggesting that rainfall amounts in total would be generally between 16 and 24 inches, with isolated areas of up to 49 inches. We'll obviously have updates on how much rain it has delivered over time, but that won't come anytime soon. Certainly not during our show. We're probably going to be running more updates later on, but that's all we have for now, really, I feel.
And tornado warning for Douglas, Howell, Ozark counties in MO.
Yes, another one.
Yeah, another tornado warning. Eastern Ozark County, southeastern Douglas County, western Howell County, all in Missouri. And also southeastern Maries County and northern Phelps County in Missouri. Those are new tornado warnings. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4 tornado warnings in effect.
And beyond the tornado warnings, going back to our cyclone and how we've covered it very slowly over the course of this live event, what are y'all's thoughts on, there are places in the world where we can't get the information like we do for the Atlantic hurricane season, and while we're looking for it with fast internet connections and all the power in the world, how are these people able to receive information when we're waiting 6 hours at a time for an image?
Well, not quite that bad. 30 minutes, though. It's not like Himawari with 10-minute imagery or better, and the upcoming goes 16.
But again, we can't find radar, we can't find, things that would be useful, and it's unfortunate.
Well, there's Jean-Michel Chung showing us radar of the Masserine Islands, at least.
Well, yeah.
As you can see, some significant rainfall occurring over Mauritius right now, by the looks of things. And that is indirectly associated with Enawo. And temperature continues to fall here. And let's see now if there's any more reports. There are more reports, certainly plenty more wind reports. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, a large tree. Oh, we read that one. Another large tree down with a power outage at Colgate and Division in Springfield per ham radio. That's in Missouri. Carports damaged, mobile home destroyed. One spotter reports it looks like a war zone. That's Max Creek in Missouri. That's under the wind reports, but it does sound like it could have been a tornado. Utility pole has been blown over in Pleasant Hill in Pike County, Illinois. A confirmed report of a partial roof collapse in a commercial building with unknown occupancy at this time, 1 mile north-northwest of Springfield in Missouri. Damage to a church on the side of Muskogee in Oklahoma from thunderstorm winds. And finally, 10 minutes ago, most of these were 10 to 15 minutes ago, reported at National, and I think we've read that one, a tree is down 1 mile north-northeast of Springfield in Missouri. Let me see if there's been any more tornado reports. There's been so many reports this evening. 15 injuries,
recently,
by the way. No more tornado reports.
Recently, one has been, just extended until midnight.
Those are the warnings, but I'm talking about actual reports. 28 tornado reports so far this evening. 211 wind reports. 122 hail reports so far this evening. Almost all of them concentrated in the states of Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, just about. Iowa, definitely, that's the hot spot. Iowa, Missouri, those two states, just about reaching into Illinois now, Wisconsin and Minnesota. Apart from that, 2 others that occurred in other states. Well, Arkansas just about on the edge of it there too as well, and 2 wind reports in Colorado, but those were much earlier on in the day, I believe.
Well, Arkansas does have tornadoes, so they've been in it too, but you're right, Missouri and Iowa have been the most active so far.
Definitely. Do you think Illinois will match that? I don't think it will, because these... Well, I don't know. These cells, the whole front seems to be expanding and maybe just losing a bit of intensity.
Nathan, I have this question for Nelson, and before he answers, welcome to Lachlan here on the east coast of Australia. And Nelson just cited this posting comment. It will be interesting to see what happens when the scoreline boundary interacts with the ISO storms ahead. Can you expand on that?
I would have to look at that post. Right now, I'm not even following the stream, unfortunately. David, as I said, to answer a previous question, I got out of the tornado warning area to look up the severe weather potential. So I do see it staying for the next 12 hours, but it's very clear that some of the southern storms will continue to produce
a new tornado warning in
precipitation.
Arkansas, Newton County, Searcy County, Marion County, and Boone County in Arkansas, all now under tornado warnings. That is until 12:30 a.m. And more warnings have been extended as well.
Boone, Marion, Newton, SEARCY counties, Arkansas.
Yep, that's the one we just mentioned. Donovan,
so apologies.
With perhaps the last question of the stream, why has the worldwide cyclone activity been so inactive? Well, it has been very inactive. Until this cyclone formed, it was the quietest start to a season in terms of ACE, accumulated cyclone energy, since 1931. It's still the lowest since 1946, but I think another day or two of Enawo will change that. But it's still, the first 2 months of the year have been almost unparalleled quiet. The first month and a half of the year was the quietest in terms of storm numbers since 1919. All sorts of records we've had at the start of this year, remarkably quiet, and the question is why? I don't really know why, to be honest. I think whatever the set of circumstances are, it's something that we've not seen in a very, very long time. set of circumstances
Ooh.
that are unprecedented, I guess. But people always go, "Ooh, spooky," when you say unprecedented. But we have we you know, our best scientists and all this think they're so knowledgeable with such a small amount of data. The world, in terms of what the extremes actually are. What are the extremes in terms of cyclone activity? We don't really know. We've only had 40 years of satellite in a 4 billion year lifespan of Earth. For all we know, there could have been 2 or 3 cyclones in the 19th century that went below 870 millibars. We'll never know. And when unprecedented things happen, it's very easy to say that the sky is falling, but in reality it's just expanding our scope of what is actually the extremes that we can see on this planet. Any thoughts on that monologue?
Following on from what Nathan has said, considering my location over here on the East Coast, as we said earlier, this has turned out to be the quietest period I've ever seen in the Coral Sea. We still have a couple of months yet, but March is the peak of the...
A lot could happen in that
time. Yeah, that's very true. Nathan, do you have this latest image on the screen?
The loop, yes. It's good.
Would you say that the eye is expanding? And I'm picking up on your comment about a 50 nautical mile radius. Has it increased in size?
That's a tough one. I'll have to get back to you on that. We're going to run over our time a little bit, but I just want to bring to you the latest from what I can see. The latest frames showing that it does appear, I've got to tell you right now, it's either land interaction or the storm is developing a second eye wall on the southwestern and southern side. It's sort of beginning to shed its first eye wall. It's not an eye wall replacement. Well, it sort of is, but it's not an eye replacement somehow. Probably something to do with land interaction, and I do think this storm will capitulate very soon. Guys, let's go around everyone with the final word. David.
I will hand over to Nelson. Sorry,
so
not
you've
Nelson.
Wasted your final
Lachlan.
word.
No, Lachlan.
Is he here?
He's here.
Oh,
he's here. Lachlan.
I didn't realise that.
No, it's all right. Lachlan. Where is he?
Yes, I'm here.
Ah.
Your thoughts on the Indian Ocean system?
A surprise is probably the best way to describe what's happened so far.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm.
What do you think about its latest appearance, and do you think it's intensifying at all?
I think before landfall, it's probably going to weaken a little bit due to the fact, obviously, I don't know the terrain of Madagascar where it's making landfall.
Definitely.
Well, if that's the case, then we know what mountains do to cyclones, and
but it hasn't so far.
Yes. No, it hasn't yet. But the eye wall is starting to show signs of something going on. So if that starts to fall apart, then the system starts to go with it.
Definitely. And final question for you, Lachlan, since you've just got here and I didn't realise you were here. Do you think the storm will survive its land transition?
I can't say it's impossible, because nothing's impossible. But I wouldn't say it's a very high chance either, right?
Most models
most likely a low chance of it surviving. If it does survive, it's
let me tell you this. We're really dragging this along, but let me just tell you this here. The HWRF thinks it will, after going the southern side of Madagascar, it will then turn back to 70 knots, 80 miles an hour, category 1, it thinks will happen. The GFDL thinks the same. The CMC thinks the same. The NavGem thinks it will get to 70 miles an hour. Do you think they're all wrong? JTWC does.
I think I'll have to wait until it makes landfall and see what it looks like then.
The Joint Typhoon Warning Centre thinks they're wrong, and the Meteo France thinks they're wrong. I just find it very curious that most of the models are predicting re-intensification after moving over such a large landmass. Very curious. Well,
agreed.
Obviously,
that one.
We'll keep the updates flowing on the Force 13 channel. The next one I expect will be at 3 p.m. UTC. David, your final word. You can't get away from it, you know.
I've got no intentions of going away, but listen, I'm going to... Are we missing something?
What are we missing?
When we consider the models. What are they picking up that we're not picking up?
What are they not picking up that we've picked up? They may not be picking up the landmass very well.
Vice versa, good point. But it's now, the name, male or female?
Enawo, female.
Okay. She's looking very, very healthy.
Just so that you could put out that sentence you wanted to know. All right. Nelson's probably dead already. So
no, not dead.
He's here.
Oh, thank goodness! I didn't want you to wait any longer. What's your final word?
Just quickly, the final word is I do believe that the eye will not regenerate at this point. At least to a spectacular level. It may become a little bit better looking, but at a much smaller size and smaller intensity. However, we go to bed seeing much of the Missouri Valley covered with tornado watches, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tornado warnings, I believe, that are currently in existence, and more will happen throughout the night. So I encourage people.
If you're in somewhere like northeastern Arkansas or southeasternmost Missouri or in Illinois, you probably want to get to bed, but do you sleep easy when this thing is on the way?
Do you sleep easy?
Or do you sleep at all? I don't know. I've never been in something like this personally. We don't really get these things here.
I've dealt with similar type storm lines, obviously without as many tornado possibilities and the strength of them being as bad as they are, but you like them to come through more at night than during the day, because it's very nice to go to sleep too. If you're in a place where tornado sirens go off, I think you actually get a little bit more peaceable sleep. I live in New Orleans, and we don't have tornado sirens.
There's a new warning that's just come out as well. Tazewell County and McLean County in central Illinois now have tornado warnings. As you were.
But anyway, as y'all saw in September with the tornadoes, or not September, February, with the tornadoes in New Orleans east and west, that the entire country is susceptible to them, especially where strong storms move through, especially where fronts meet, and the Gulf Coast is one of those places. Certainly not as susceptible as the plains, but we don't have storm warning systems like that, so that's why, again, I said make sure you have a NOAA-approved NWS weather radio on you. It turns on automatically if it's powered when there is an alert in your area, and it can save your life, because you might not have power when the storm is 5 miles away from you. and you need to know.
And finally, Jean-Michel Chung, any thoughts to finish with? I'm not sure.
Not really, but we put when in our we make landfall, I'll push it on the groups,
And now we'll make landfall on what?
and I will push it on the group.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that's going to happen now. We still don't know when the storm's going to make landfall. Let me just quickly, just before we do go off the air, I want to bring to you the latest distance reports. The storm right now, in Enawo that is at 14.9 degrees south and 50.7 degrees east, meaning that now it has moved much closer in this last hour and is now just 29 miles away from Antalaha, and from actual landmass, from the closest point of land, it is only 25 miles away from land. So based off that, considering how it's moved, how far in the last hour? Let's see, 14 miles in the last hour. If it keeps up that speed, 2 hours, it's there. Well, guys, thanks very much for being with us.
Before you go,
yes.
can you bring up the screen share?
Yes?
You got that on the screen?
No.
That's the latest. You haven't got it.
We're still looking at Jean's screen share here showing the storm. But go ahead. Let's see if you can. What would it have been?
Tropical cyclone formation probability is showing up an area at northwest WA and 97S, and 24 hours later an area close to Indonesia.
I'm sure we'll be looking into that in the future. Our next update on this storm will follow at 3 PM UTC, we expect. But in the meantime, you can always find us on Facebook and Twitter. Search Force 13, all in text. And you can also get involved on our group Force 13 International on Facebook. Search that and you'll find it. And if you can't find it, Jean-Michel Chung will help you. You can also add Fool13, FOOL13 on Skype, and add extension 9094 on Discord for tropical weather chat. You can also join our chat rooms on those platforms if you do use them. In the meantime, that's all from us. Thanks ever so much for being with us over the course of the last 7 hours of broadcasting. Nelson's surely feeling the effects of that. And we'll be with you again
First time
for some more storm adventures or something to that effect. Obviously, stay safe out there if you're in the central part of the US, and of course in Madagascar. Things are going to get pretty rough over the next few hours, but we hope we've done our service. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.